every month you can play with us on Nitrogen Sports Poker Room. That sounds pretty fun, right? We've already done it once, and it was a blast.
It was.
It was a very small buy-in and a very big guarantee.
0.1 mil of it buy-in. That's like $1.40 as of today. Guarantee was what, $1,400? There was a huge overlay. They were giving away free money. We hope you were in on that.
Yeah, and if you use the link in the description of this video when you sign up for Nitrogen, you can get that free money, and who wouldn't want that?
I mean,
that sounds pretty good. At the end of every month, we're doing a tournament just like that. Get in there and get you some free money.
As Ed McMahon would say, all for you.
You know who finds the most interesting and craziest hero calls of all time? It's
DJ Elixir.
A resident DJ.
Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah, that's, I'm sure DJ Elixir is not at all offended for his profession by that.
Dude, you're scratching.
This is the Sky Poker Cash Game. It is a small stakes cash game. It's 5-5, but this hand is insane, so we have to show it to you.
I'm pretty sure, by the way, DJs at this point, everything's just on a freaking iPhone anyway. You just hit play and go to sleep.
Yeah, that's
right?
a lot of respect for the profession.
You're
making a lot of friends out there.
As always. But this is a great, great hand, and it involves two interesting players, Rupert Elder and Matthew Ashton, two successful online and tournament type dudes. Matthew Ashton notably won the Poker Players Championship, the 50K at the World Series of Poker. Always has pretty good World Series of Poker as well. So he's going to make some interesting decisions in this hand.
Yeah, we'll call him interesting.
That's what I'm going to call him.
We're going to call him interesting, and we're going to break this hand down as we go, so we get ready for some analysis.
Queen 3 suited for Matthew Ashton, and he raises his button. Simon Hensworth folds the small blind, but Rupert Elder is in from the big blind with 8s.
Woohoo! Welcome to the show.
Play mixed games at all?
I've played once.
Once.
King 8-4, middle set for Elder.
Wow, kid plays one hand the entire show, and this one's going to have more action than the end of the Wild Bunch.
2 spades on the flop, Ashton with the flush draw. And he will continue for £25.
I like a just call here. Even though we know there's a flush draw, it's not a particularly dangerous board for a set. So I like just calling, let your opponent bet all his bluffs again on the turn.
There's the call from Elder. Turn card, deuce of clubs. Elder checks a second time.
Maybe Ashton just takes the free card. Thinking not, though, since a double barrel is going to win this a lot of the time. And then he also doesn't have to rely on hitting his hand. By the way, when I said the double barrel is going to work a lot, I didn't mean now, by the way.
Ashton does bet again. And that is a big bet into a pot of 85 quid.
Rupert may raise now with 2 flush draws out there. Flat calling also just fine.
Suddenly, things getting serious.
Even if Rupert's not afraid of spades, he may raise here in case one hits the river. It might kill his action. Oh my god, this tank is longer than the runway at the end of the Fast and Furious 6.
He does know it's his go, right?
He'll get there. He'll get there.
What's it going to be, Roops?
Another 5 minutes, that's what it's going to be.
Well, the big ones are the purple chips. They're worth £100 each. So this is a raise.
C2 re-raises to 380.
Not a very big raise, though.
Ashton's getting better than 3-1 on this bet, but here are some reasons he might not call. 1, he has to hit his hand. 2, sometimes when he hits his hand, it's not going to be good. 3, Rupert Elder hasn't played a pot all night, and he's probably not messing around. 4, the siren call of the flush draw can sometimes be too much for any man to handle, and that was actually a reason why he might call. You know the siren call of the flush draw, right, James? Call me. Call me. My boyfriend's away for the weekend. Call me.
Do you know what? I was happier before I heard it.
Yeah, well, you don't have a flush draw. If you did, you'd have called already.
Ashton throws in the extra £200 and we go to the river.
He was getting a pretty good price.
£845 in the middle, 7 of diamonds on the river. Ashton doesn't get there.
Brick.
Elder with a lock on the hand.
The other most obvious flop draw did come in, though, so Roops may not love this card. There's only a gut shot, though. And it's unlikely Ashton was sticking around with that, so my guess is that after a moment in the tank that could rival how long it takes to feed the turtles at the London Aquarium, Rupert's eventually gonna value bet.
And he doesn't have that much behind. Which is why he is going to bet it all.
Seat 2 is all in.
How much is that?
Oh, stop it.
£600. Is this
600 total.
a legitimate tank?
600
No.
total.
This is Hollywooding for the cameras. If he calls here, I will eat my hat. Which is bad for me because I'm on Atkins.
All right, you've had enough TV time. Fold already.
He has queen high, right? I'm not misreading the board. What is going on? What was that game for Atari Combat? This is a battle between two tanks.
What does he think Rupert has here? He calls! That is one of the sickest calls I've ever seen!
What just happened?
Ashton calls with queen high, and Rupert Elder wins a pot of more than £2,000.
Now, I know we just showed you an entire hand, and breakdown viewers know that's not normal for us to do.
Yeah.
But the reason we did that is because there's really just this one decision that needs to be talked about, and everything else is nothing compared to it. What is this? This is insane. What's happening?
Okay.
Am I here?
We
Is
all
this-
exist. We are in the world. This is
Okay.
not a dream.
Okay.
You are the President of the United States.
Oh, cool.
But the one thing that's important, though, before we talk about just this call, is to rewind to the turn a little bit to talk about Matthew Ashton's decision to bet 180 into this pot. He's betting so much. Why would he do that? What's the point here? And why does that inform everything?
Well, I don't know, but I have another question for you.
Okay.
Why are we dressed so nicely?
Well, I think it's about time, don't you? Also, bar mitzvah.
It's
Bar
because
mitzvah.
it might be the worst call of all time, so we need to show off how it might be the worst call of all time.
You know.
So let's talk about that 180 bet, all
Okay.
right? He's betting 180. We don't hate that as an idea. He's trying to get Rupert Elder off all of his non-top pair hands and even some of his top pair hands. That's going to work some of the time. And also we have equity if we get called because we have the flush draw. It's not so bad, but we need to remember this 180 bet did happen.
Yeah.
And Rupert Elder did raise.
Yeah, and he raised small, by the way, which means he is very unlikely to have a draw, right? Why would he raise so small that he forces Ashton to call when what he would want is a fold? It seems unlikely.
That's
anyway.
a good question. And another thing about this is if he has a draw, it's usually a combo draw or the nut flush draw.
Right.
Guess what? Queen high doesn't beat either of those now.
Yes.
The combo draws are all gut shots that either paired the 7 and then I guess Elder's still bluffing with the 7, or have the nut flush draw, which is ace high, which beats the queen, even though he's bluffing, he's beating the queen high, or he actually made his gut shot and has a straight at this point.
Yeah, this is what makes the call, we think, among the candidates for some of the worst calls we've seen is because the 7 on the river eliminates the ability to beat any of the gut shot moves that might be made. Without that, if it's any other card, then you could say, well, there's some spades and there's some gut
I
shots that
guess
miss.
it would still be really ambitious.
It's highly ambitious, but at least you could say that now we're down to there's a few combos of spades, we guess, but not too many that have, and also have to take this line. We're not sure if Elder ever takes this line with jack high spades or 10 high spades or something
He's
like
got
that.
to have like 10-9, Jack-9, Jack-10 of spades, maybe sometimes 9-6 of spades, a hand
Right.
like that. But first of all, it's really hard for Elder to get to the river like this. When Ashton bets 180 on the turn, Elder is, I don't know, 99% of the time just going to dump those hands. He's not getting the right odds to call, and raising seems kind of suicidal. So how is he going to have those hands? How is he going to have anything but 2 pair or better here?
I mean, let's say he decides to check raise with one of those hands. Would he really check raise so tiny and leave 600 behind? What would the point of that be? He's going to put himself in this really weird decision if he gets moved in on. None of it makes any sense at all. He'd probably make a bigger raise or just dump it like Grant's saying, which is what I'd expect him to do too, almost always. So where in the world is Matthew Ashton getting this call from?
I don't know. He's not a recreational player. He
No.
won the 50K Players Championship.
He finished 7th just this year again in it. He is legit.
He's a serious player. So there has to be some sort of thought behind this call, but we can't find it.
It's really, really hard to come up with anything at all. And here's the thing that's extra important. Rupert Elperder, it's hard to say his name, let's be fair.
The Elpinator.
It's really difficult.
Yeah.
He may be
That's
the
his fault,
tightest.
by the way.
Yeah, he may be the tightest player at the table.
Yeah.
This is the first hand he's played of this session. They actually mentioned that, right? So when the guy who hasn't played a single hand calls pre-flop, calls on the flop, check raises small on the turn, moves in on the river. Maybe queen high isn't always the best thing, especially when most of the draws either have come in or we can't beat anyway.
Right. I can understand this call on some runouts against some players.
Yes.
Not on this runout and not against this player.
Right.
I think this is just categorically bad. I don't know what else to say about it.
I mean, is it because to Matthew Ashton this isn't a lot of money? And he's
Maybe.
like, you know what? I just want to see.
There's the equity of being the biggest hero in poker history, potentially. He knows this is on
Yes.
TV. He's thinking, okay, there's a lot of expected value outside of this game for me. This little amount of money doesn't really mean that much to me. If I call and I'm right somehow Rupert Elder has
Some crazy
9
way.
6 of spades, which feels impossible, whatever. Let's say Ashton, for some reason, believes that's worth $100,000 to him in, brand equity.
Okay.
Maybe that's a reason to call.
I mean, that's the best I got. But now that he's made this call, it's harder for the next one to be worth as much. Right?
Yeah.
'Cause we're like, well, he's just the guy who calls with queen high.
Yeah.
I mean, he happened to be right once in a while. It isn't like Davide Katai or anything, right? All right, so we were not fans at all of that river call by Ashton. But we also thought his turn bet was at least suspicious, maybe not bad necessarily, but interesting and different. What did you guys think of Ashton deciding to bet so much on the turn and then call all in on the river? Do you think that's good? We certainly didn't. Let us know in the comments your thoughts, though. We'll be looking forward to seeing them.
Of course, we went way more in depth into this on our podcast, and
Of
if we seemed
course.
incensed in the video, you got to listen to the podcast because we're like, what the hell is going on? It's called
Yeah.
The Breakdown, presented by the Poker Guys. Make sure you subscribe to that if you really want to know how we draw our conclusions.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like there's something else we have to say, which is this. We do lots and lots of cash game hands on this show. We've broken down some incredible hands, shocking hands, amazing hands. You got to check them all out by clicking right up there.
And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe.